Hello, friends. So today we are going to do something a little bit different. This concept has been on my mind for months, honestly, probably since the first coloring book came out about a year ago. Oh, wow, it's been about a year. So you can see I have it right here. And what we're going to do today basically is coloring and conversation. That's what I'm going to call it for now. So I don't know if this is going to be a new series or not. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments because I appreciate your input when it comes to the things that I put out on the channel. So yeah, I'm going to pick a picture out of the coolest cat coloring book for humans of all ages. If you're new here, this is our coloring book that we created and published, and I'm super proud of, and it came out a year ago, and it's available on Amazon. You could just look up the coolest cat coloring book for humans of all ages, or I'll link everything in the description below in the pinned comment. When it comes to what we're going to talk about today, I'm picking random subjects. So, like I said, this is brand new, and today I'm going to talk about the benefits of pineapple with you. The benefits of pineapple, and specifically the bromelain, which is the enzyme in the pineapple. Why are we talking about this, you might ask? Well, if you didn't know, my day job is health and fitness and especially nutrition for humans. And as you probably do know, if you're part of the Cat Lady Fitness family already, I love researching. I love gathering information. I am randomly full of really random yet fun facts. At least I think so. And something I love is note taking. I love putting a literal pen to paper, the act of writing. I have my whole entire life. I don't think any kind of technological computers or notepads or whatever device will ever replace that. It's just something inherent that I have always been drawn to. That being said, I have so many notepads and legal pads, and I love index cards the past couple of years for some reason, especially those giant ones. I love writing lists. I will write a list for my to-dos every single Sunday for the week and probably write it twice, once on an index card and once in my actual planner. It's pretty redundant, and when I reflect upon it, it could be considered kind of a disguise of what really is procrastination, but it makes me happy. So that being said, I happened to come across in cleaning these legal pads and notebooks that I had stashed away because I have, like I said, so many of them, and it's kind of hard to get rid of them. And in this one notepad, legal pad, the big long ones with the yellow paper, I found an entire page where I wrote down the benefits of pineapple or bromelain. And I think it's because at least, you guys, it must be at least 5 or 6 years ago, I was just starting to think of ideas before this channel took its turn more towards the avenue of cat stuff and feline nutrition and raw cat food and all the cute kitty videos. Before I even had a cat, I want to say it was before I even had Puppy is when I started this channel. I was trying to think of things and content to share. And when it first started off, it was going to be mainly on things for my day job. So it was going to be things, more recipes, which if you go way back to my older videos, you'll find that it's a lot of nutrition-based videos. It's recipes and talking about, I want to say even natural skincare and how your diet and nutrition can affect things like acne and all kinds of things like that, even maybe food reviews for interesting, healthy foods. So needless to say, it pivoted quite a bit to a different direction, but I really kind of want to go back to some of that stuff because it does matter to me. And I do feel like if you guys care about your feline fur babies and if you want to give them their best, healthiest life through, healthy raw food, which is the best, most species appropriate diet you can give them. In my mind, if you care that much about your feline fur babies, then you probably value your own health and wellness and nutrition as well, and learning things that might benefit you in that way. So I kind of digress there, but I found this huge list basically of benefits for pineapple. And I found it, and it's been sitting on my desk. I never got rid of it. I put it away. I found it again. And I'm like, you know what? I got to share these facts, because then it's almost like this can be rid from my to-do list. This could be one page that I rip out and that I don't have to worry about anymore. And one more thing I can get rid of, because I find a lot of joy in cleaning house and getting rid of things, donating clothes, finishing even food, like food containers. I love it when I finish something and I get to, my pantry or my fridge starts to get a little empty. I just love knowing that things are being used and useful. So in this maiden voyage of coloring and conversation, it's going to be the very random subject of benefits for pineapple. And I hope you find it interesting. Maybe you knew all of this stuff I'm about to tell you. Maybe you haven't yet. This is all new to you. But I think let's just get started and talk about these benefits. And Alfred just jumped up on the desk, not in what you're watching, because that's it's a different time than right now when I'm actually speaking. If I didn't point it out already, I'm pretty sure that there is a page in the Coolest Cat Coloring Book that does have a pineapple on it. I think it might be the Hawaii themed page with puppy. So if that's the page I'm probably have already started coloring, then that's why I chose it, because it seemed very relevant to the subject of today's video. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the benefits of pineapple. If you didn't know, the enzyme that's found in pineapple, it's called bromelain, and it's mainly in the stem and the core. So that's why if you are eating pineapple and it's been cut really close to the stem or the core, the bromelain is most concentrated in the stem and the core. That's mainly where it is. So when you see a supplement, because bromelain actually, it is a proteolytic enzyme, which means that it digests and breaks down proteins, which is why you'll see it in supplements often. It can work synergistically with, I can't remember which supplements in particular, but you'll see on certain supplements it says with bromelain added. And it's often, actually every time, if you've ever used digestive enzymes, the supplement that is digestive enzymes, or the supplement that's proteolytic enzymes, you'll always find bromelain in there. And that is the powerhouse that is within pineapple, along with, of course, all of the other vitamins and nutrients that pineapple does have. But bromelain is what is the key, core, very, very beneficial one that we're going to be talking about all of those benefits. So it's an anti-inflammatory, it's an anticoagulant, which means it helps to thin the blood to an extent, and it works by breaking down fibrin within the body and within the tissues. So if you put it on topically, which this even goes for you can do this with the stem of a pineapple if you have it left over, and let's say you have bruising or something like that, you can actually put it on topically and it will help to speed the wound healing and also even inhibit bruises from forming. So if you are familiar with arnica, that kind of works in the same way, in the sense that it helps to avoid bruises from forming. Bromelain from pineapple, when applied topically, it can do the same thing. You just kind of don't want to keep it on for too long, because again, it does break down proteins, and we'll get to a little more interesting stuff about that in a little bit, because if you've eaten pineapple before and feel like it makes your mouth itchy or start to feel a little raw, that's because it kind of is making it a little bit raw. So when it comes to digestion, bromelain and pineapple, it helps to aid in digestion. And again, everything about this stems from the fact, no pun intended, it stems from the fact that it digests and breaks down protein. So if you reflect upon that, then everything makes sense, basically, that follows that fact. So it aids digestion. It enhances the effects of other digestive enzymes, which are typically also included in these digestive enzyme supplements. And those can include trypsin and pepin, I believe it is. I don't have that in my notes, but I believe it's trypsin and pepin. It improves the quercetin absorption, which is why bromelain supplements also contain quercetin. You will find within bromelain substances, you will often find, if you're especially solitary bromelain substances, which isn't as common, it's usually in some kind of proprietary blend, but you'll find that it does contain quercetin, which is especially beneficial. It also works synergistically, I believe, with the absorption of zinc. And that's important to know, especially with what's going on in the world the past couple of years when it comes to if you're going to choose to take certain supplements or nutrients. I would say that quercetin and zinc and vitamin D are probably the solid top three that would be wise to look at, maybe to begin taking, especially if your immune system is a little bit low and a little bit damaged or just not doing too well. It might be worth looking into those three supplements and perhaps taking them all together in some way. So bromelain, pineapple, also lessens swelling and inflammation on injuries, like I said, but in injuries as well. And that does include drinking pineapple juice. Again, you can always just take the bromelain supplement. Pineapple juice, if you are kind of trying to watch your sugar intake, of course, it does contain natural sugars. That just depends on your dietary preferences and maybe if you prefer to follow something that's lower glycemic or you have some kind of condition where you need to watch spiking your blood sugar. Or, of course, if you're into the whole popular keto thing, you probably aren't going to drink a cup of pineapple juice. But that doesn't stop the fact that it does contain this enzyme that's going to do these things and help to lessen the swelling and the inflammation in injuries. It also can combat heartburn, indigestion, clearly, viral and bacterial infections, and improve the effectiveness of certain antibiotics. So since bromelain does divide proteins like collagen as efficiently as it does, because it does mainly break down protein, it makes a great meat tenderizer. And that's why you'll see people add pineapple slices when they're marinating meat, or even just pineapple juice when they're marinating meat, because it does tenderize and basically pre-digest that protein to make it more tender as it's marinating. And this is especially for dense proteins like steaks, which again is why it's commonly used in those kinds of marinades. Not only that, but it does add a great flavor. I don't eat steak, but if I say so myself, anything teriyaki is delicious, and typically, oftentimes, there is pineapple involved in that. And like I mentioned earlier, when it comes to sometimes, some of you may have noticed that if you're eating pineapple, and especially if you're kind of just eating piece by piece or eating a lot of it at once, you'll notice that your tongue also feels kind of, you might say, some people, they say it's itchy or tender when eating it. And that's because you're basically tenderizing the tissue inside your mouth. And it's super temporary. It's nothing to be super concerned about. You're not going to completely break down your tongue and your cheeks because they do renew and revitalize very, very quickly. But if you are feeling that sensation and you want it to stop, then you can all just cut back or stop eating that pineapple, maybe stop drinking so much pineapple juice, and you'll notice that it goes away. And a lot of people will often mistake this too for thinking that they're getting a sore throat. But if you kind of try to identify something that could have caused it, especially if you haven't been around people, if you typically don't get sick, if you don't get a sore throat, it might be from eating a good amount of pineapple. So many people find that so interesting. I know I've had clients where I've trained them at night and they're like, I think I'm coming down with something like a sore throat or something, but it's so weird because I never get sore throats or whatever it may be. And I ask them what they had for lunch or what they had in their last meal, and they'll tell me. And oftentimes it's included some pineapple, and they were so surprised to hear about that. And it also lends some peace of mind. You're not getting sick. You're kind of tenderizing your tongue a little bit, but all will be fine. So I always thought that was a fun fact to share. And it's also interesting and good to note that the enzymes in pineapple are neutralized at 158 degrees Fahrenheit. So cooking pineapple or pineapple juice, it stops the enzymes from working and it halts them from breaking down the proteins. So you also want to make sure with marinating that you don't want to marinate too long using pineapple or using pineapple juice, because that will break down the meat too much and will cause it to become mushy. So typically you don't want to marinate for more than maybe 20 or 30 minutes if you're using pineapple. Another fun fact too is Jell-O comes into the mix. So Jell-O is gelatin, if you didn't know, and gelatin is a protein and it's a collagen-based protein. So if you have ever tried to put pineapple pieces in Jell-O when making Jell-O, you'll notice that the Jell-O won't set. And that's because the pineapple will combat the collagen and the proteins from actually setting, because it will be pre-digesting or breaking down those proteins. You might as well not even try ever making Jell-O with pineapple juice or putting pineapple pieces in Jell-O, because it'll remain a liquid and it won't work, and you'll just waste your Jell-O powder. Something else to note is when you're buying pineapple, and really when you're buying any fruit with a peel, you don't have to worry so much about it being organic if that's a concern to you when you buy fruits and vegetables and things, because it has such a thick, dense peel, and you'll be cutting that off and you don't consume that anyway. That is where the concern mainly is when it comes to buying organic, because the pesticides go on the surface, they go on the peel. And if you're peeling that off, especially one that's as dense and thick as a pineapple, then you really don't have to worry about paying more to get organic. Same thing I would say when it goes for things like grapefruit or even avocado. If you're actually going to eat the peel from something like apples or plums, or definitely I would say berries, which in my book, The Grocery Store Tour Guide, I do have a list of I think it's the Dirty Dozen is what they call it, the top fruits to ensure that you do get organic, because they have the most harmful, questionable pesticides on them. Those are the ones that you do pretty much want to invest in getting organic. But when it comes to pineapple, because you're not eating that skin, there's no real concern for pesticides or herbicides or fertilizers that might be harmful for you to ingest. What I think is really interesting is that bromelain in pineapple shows promise in helping respiratory ailments like sore throat. Even though it can cause the feeling of it, it can also help to break down certain bacteria that might be causing the sore throat, things like sinusitis, bronchitis, and to help in clearing mucus, again, because it helps to break down those viral and bacterial infections by breaking down the proteins that are causing these infections and helping your body to pass them through after they are broken down. So if you do have some kind of respiratory issues, again, that combination with the quercetin and the bromelain, the zinc, and I'm just tossing it in there because it's just so beneficial overall and so many people are deficient in it, vitamin D, specifically D3, that combination, if you suffer from any of those things I just mentioned when it comes to respiratory issues, sinus issues, allergies, it could be very beneficial. Bronchitis, if you just happen to have a lot of mucus, maybe you quit smoking, you're looking to help to clear your lungs up, clear things up a little bit more quickly, taking a proteolytic enzyme like bromelain, or even like a proprietary blend, if you happen to come across one. I know that I believe the brand is Doctor's Best. They have a proteolytic enzyme supplement that's a combination of certain proteolytic enzymes. And a lot of people find benefit from taking that when it comes to overall inflammation of the body and for allergies, especially. And again, things involving sinusitis and different things like that. So that might be something, if you struggle with those things, of course, look at the foundation of your nutritional habits and the things that you eat and drink in your lifestyle. But this could be something that really helps to benefit you and helps you to combat that inflammation and especially chronic inflammation, which is what you want to avoid in the body. Inflammation itself, it's important to note, it's not a bad thing. Your body is supposed to be able to inflame in certain times. If you're walking through the woods and you don't have anything nearby and you step on a thorn or get stung by a bee, that fast reaction from your body, that inflammation, the immediate inflammation, that's health. That is a healthy reaction. It's just the chronic inflammation that when people are saying inflammation is bad, that is what they're talking about. It's the chronic inflammation, because your body should not be chronically inflamed. And things like pineapple and bromelain and really good whole foods with a lot of vitamins and nutrients, those are things that can help you feel better ultimately. And another fun little thing, I think this is the last thing I'll add because I'm not sure how long this is. It's turning out to be almost like a coloring book podcast situation. But you can use pineapple juice as a part of a foot soak or a scrub. You can use crushed pineapple as a part of a good foot scrub, especially for dry, calloused, and cracked feet. Or even if you have, odorous feet, it will help with that because, again, it does have those antibacterial properties, which typically, if you got the stinky feet, that is a bacterial issue more than just the textural issue of having dry, cracked feet. So rub your feet down with some crushed pineapple. You can even mix it with some kind of oil. So coconut oil or an olive oil or some kind of neutral oil, and also coarse sugar or salt to get more of an exfoliation, kind of a mechanical exfoliation thing happening. Just rub your feet down with that, let them sit in it. I would say no longer than 10, 20 minutes max, because again, it is so efficient at breaking down the proteins. You don't want to do it too much. Then just wash them off, wipe them down, put on a good lotion, and you should notice a pretty noticeable difference in how your feet look and feel and even smell. You could see just in that one aspect of pineapple, the bromelain in the pineapple, there are so many different benefits to it. I think pineapple is delicious. It's a fruit that I always have fresh, ready, cut in my fridge, so I can have it usually either before a meal to help as a digestive enzyme in itself, or even after a meal, because it can help in that way as well. And, basically, I just love it. It's delicious. And fortunately, I live kind of in a tropical environment, tropical climate where it's readily available all throughout the year. All right, guys, I think this is much lengthier than I anticipated to make it. I hope you enjoyed watching me color this page in the coolest cat coloring book for humans of all ages. Please let me know in the comments if you liked this video, if you like this concept, if you found it interesting, if you like pineapple, if you don't like pineapple, if you've noticed when you eat it that your tongue feels itchy or your mouth feels raw, and if you knew why that was. Because a lot of times people mistake that they are allergic to pineapple because of that feeling, when in actuality, as you just learned, that's definitely not the case. It's just the bromelain doing its job. Unfortunately, it's just on your tongue. If you like this video, please do me a favor and click the thumbs up. And if there's anything else you would like for me to talk about in the next coloring and conversation video, because I would love to do this regularly, then let me know in the comments below. This was a completely random subject about it. It could be anything. It doesn't even have to be about nutrition or cats. Honestly, I might just, if something pops into my head, I'll probably create it into one of these coloring and conversation tidbits. Hopefully not as long as this debut one, but we got to work out the kinks. We got to figure things out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you want to get a coloring book for yourself, and perhaps we can make this a shared experience to where when I put out these videos, you can also take the time yourself to sit down and just listen if you don't want to watch me coloring, and color for yourself, because it is such a good stress management tool, and it is so soothing, almost like an active meditation. which is one of the reasons I created it, because you guys know I love creative arts. I love the value that can be in just taking time to yourself and doing fun things that we forget to do, or I feel like so many adults forget to do. It's just fun things that you used to enjoy when you were a kid. They are so important. There's no reason that those things should be lost and that you shouldn't make the time to do those things that put you in that flow and that make you just feel good and relaxed. So it's important to me, and I just wanted to remind you guys that it might still be really beneficial for you. And I hope that you all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.